rare adventures of Biggles.
While Ginger and Ian Ross fail in their attempt to escape from the Russian zone of Berlin, the plan for the movement of their friends from Prague promises more success. Biggles learns that John Smith, the British agent who is shielding them, has a hidden radio transmitter, so he arranges to send a message to Algy and Pat. The plan is excellent, but it doesn't allow for Algy's restless spirit. When Assistant Commissioner Raymond phones through to the Air Police Drome, he learns to his horror that Pat and Algy have already taken off in a blind attempt to locate their friends behind the Iron Curtain. It is a few minutes later, and the Scotland Yard plane is purring across the English Channel. Algy is at the controls, and he is startled to see Pat climb quickly down from the radio desk.
What's up, Pat? Did you make contact with the drone?
Yes, and there is a message for us.
What? Good grief. I only suggested you chase them up on the off chance.
Well, it's come through, not 5 minutes after we took off. A message from Biggles.
From Biggles himself? Is he in England?
No, the message was phoned by Raymond. Biggles sent a signal through to him.
Well, what's he say? Quickly, do we turn for home or what?
I'm not sure what we should do. Biggles and Bertie are apparently hiding in Prague. They've organized a line of escape from the city, but they want us to pick them up.
When and where?
We've been given the map reference of a field not far from the city. They'll be expecting us to put down on it at 1 in the morning.
We'll be there. What's the time now, Pat?
Nearly 7. We can't fly straight there, Algy. We'd arrive too soon.
Yes, and there's no point in stooging about doing nothing.
Perhaps we should turn back.
Only waste fuel. Was there anything else in the message, Pat?
No. It had apparently been sent to Scotland Yard by some underground method. It was in code, of course. Raymond phoned it through to us immediately. I gather he blistered a bit when he found we weren't there.
Still, he left the message to the drone for us. That was reasonably intelligent of the old boy. Did you tell Control to notify him we'd been contacted?
Oh, yes. We don't want half a dozen planes putting down on this field.
No fear. This little job is our private concern, and no one else is going to touch it. We'll head for Paris and fill in time there, Pat.
That sounds a good idea. We can refuel and check this reference on a good map. Then we'll be ready for whatever happens.
We'll be all right. Let's hope poor old Biggles and Bertie will make it as easily. They're the blokes with the tough end of the operation.
How's that time going, Bertie? Can you always see in this confounded dock?
The Lissy watches are renowned for their jolly luminosity, old trout. Dear old Uncle Egbert started the tradition when he was locked up for biffing dear old great-aunt, Gussie on the Boko. Quite a blot on the old family escutcheon, that was. And most frightfully dark in the belly dungeon, I should think.
Bertie, for Pete's sake, stop gabbling. I want to know the time.
Oh, I thought you must have some reason for asking. I mean to say, what's the blinking watch for, unless...
The time, Bertie. And if I don't get it within 2 seconds, there'll be another blot on the Lissy escutcheon.
I say. 7:05, old sausage. There you are, prompt and on the dot as ever. If you want to know the time, ask a Lissy. What? It'll be trundled forth like nobody's business. There, did you hear that, Harriet? Positively bubbling over with enthusiasm, what? Just like that. Rippling with excitement in every blinking syllable it was. That's the sort of response we Lissies like.
He's had over an hour. I wonder if the message went through.
Oh, old Smutty. Yes, by Jove. Despite our burble, we Lissies have been wondering somewhat about that, too.
Everything depends on Algy. If he doesn't pick us up, it'll be ages before we're cleared of Czechoslovakia.
If ever.
We'll be clear, Bertie. Get that straight. But I want to make it tonight. I'm worried about those kids, Ginge and Ian Ross, flying off to the ends of the earth while we are stuck in this cursed place.
Oh, by Jove. I say, it's Smithy.
Have you been worrying, gentlemen?
Oh, no. We've been quietly playing patience here in the blinking dark. Biggles cheated 4 times.
How did you go?
Oh, the message was sent through. I waited until I received an acknowledgement from London.
Then we're right. Algy won't let us down.
No, by Jove. Can't say I'm barely confident about us, though.
You will do very well. Yes, I've kept you waiting, I know, but the time has been spent most profitably in organizing your escape. Everything is well in hand.
Now I know why British intelligence is so darned efficient. It's fellows like you who make it that way.
Oh, dear, no, not me. I have a job to do and I do it, that's all. Besides which, this particular task was not very difficult. You fellows have organized your own escape from the country. All I had to do was arrange your movement to the landing ground.
And it's all sewn up, glued together, and neatly tucked in sort of nonsense.
The arrangements are well in hand. Nothing is sewn up, as you put it. And one is operating in hostile territory.
What's the drill, Mr. Smith?
Once again, you'd better listen carefully to me, so that you'll be sure of your details. You see, I shan't be able to accompany you on the trip. I have cultivated the reputation of being a quiet old chap who doesn't move very far from his shop. So I leave others to do the more active work.
Well, far ahead with the details. We'll remember them.
Well, it's now approaching 7:15. You will have another hour and a half here in the attic.
Move off at 8:45, what?
Yes. At least you will be standing by at that time. At 9, a farm cart will pull up outside the scrap metal yard along the road. I think I told you it's at the corner, about 50 yards from my door.
Yes, you mentioned it when you were detailing the emergency escape route.
Well, that's the place. You'll appreciate it. It'd be unwise for me to have the cart stop outside this house.
Oh, by Jove, yes. Sort of bring the bally coppers onto you like nobody's business if anything came unstuck, wouldn't it?
Precisely. By 9, you'll be waiting inside the scrap metal yard. You'll hear the car pull up, and you'll wait until the driver speaks to his horse. That will be your signal that the road is clear.
And we sort of pop aboard, what?
Yes. Now, immediately you're in the cart, cover yourselves with the old sacks you'll find there. There'll be no need for you to speak to the driver. He will take you direct to the landing ground and indicate when you have arrived. The journey will take about 3 hours, which will leave you approximately an hour in which to wait for your aircraft. I felt it better to keep that 1 hour's grace in case anything went wrong.
You've organized it so well that I doubt if anything will. Sounds foolproof to me, sir.
Nothing is foolproof in a country like this, Bigglesworth. I warned you earlier that the political police may be aware of my identity as a British agent. On that factor hinges the whole operation.
But, you should be pretty right now, shouldn't you, old sausage? I mean to say, the coppers have had all day to raid the blinking place if they suspected we might be here. There hasn't been even an unpleasant whiff of the blighters.
Now, the police operate mainly at night. Much easier to surround a house without alarming the occupants. I suggest that we all keep constantly on the alert and ready to change our plans at a moment's notice, should it prove necessary.
I quite agree. And to make sure we are clear about it, do you mind if I run through the escape route?
Well, of course. I should like you to be certain.
The alarm is a buzzer. You'll operate it from the shop below.
That's the emergency alarm. If you hear it, you'll know that it's essential for you to escape at once. It'll probably mean that the police are about to search the house.
Right. When we hear it, we put a box on the table and climb through the skylight. We shut it and climb to the right along the roof until we reach a chimney.
Oh, by Jove, yes. And that's where we find the bally old rope with which to hang ourselves, what?
We'll take the rope from the chimney and climb down to the flat roof below. If we follow that to the end, it'll lead us to the scrap metal yard you were talking about. That all okay?
Yes, and that's the route you'll use to reach the scrap metal yard by 9 o'clock. Now, unless an emergency arises, I'll come and warn you when it's time to leave. It would be very unsafe for you to be waiting here too long.
Of course. We'll be standing by at 9:15.
That's the idea. Well, you seem to have it all clearly in your mind, so I'll go back to the shop. I daren't leave it too long, you know. I'll be back in half an hour with the last meal for you.
Oh, last meal? Sounds as if we're lined up for our bally execution, doesn't it?
Goodness knows what we are lined up for, Bertie. But it's up to us to turn whatever happens into an escape.
Do you think we'd better start burbling, old bean?
You've asked me that 4 times in the last 10 minutes, Bertie. Smith said he'd come and send us off at 9:15. We'll wait for him.
Yes, but suppose something keeps the trout. I mean to say, I'd hate to miss that blinking farm cart.
The farm cart will wait for us.
But Algy mightn't, by Jove. And if we're late at the landing ground...
We shan't be late anywhere. Now pipe down and take it easy, Bertie. Everything's going to plan.
Take it easy. 3 minutes before 0 hour. It's 18 minutes to, you know.
If you tell me the time once more, I'll crown you. Don't you think I have any nerves?
Nerves? You? Don't be funny, old sausage. The blinking house could blow up and you wouldn't wobble a bally whisker. Oh, sizzling sausages, what was that?
It's all right. There's only someone knocking at the door of the shop.
Only? Baked potatoes? That can't happen now. And suppose it's a bell. That was a bell.
It was the doorbell of the shop. Smith must have opened it to let someone in.
Yes, but who? Biggles, who would it be at this time of night?
Shh! Listen. See if you can hear anything.
Not a bally sound.
Quiet. There may be something in a minute.
The buzzer!
That's it! The warning signal. It's the police. Downstairs!
Biggles and Bertie knew that signal must come, the warning that the police have discovered their hiding place. Can they make their escape from the house? Will this development affect their flight on the landing ground? There will be great excitement in the next chapter of The Air Adventures of Biggles.
The Air Adventures of Biggles.
Everything is organized for Biggles and Bertie to escape from Prague. By radio, Pat and Algy have been warned to bring their plane to a field not far from the city at 1 in the morning. Smith has arranged for a farm cart to be in the street at 9, ready to take the fugitives to the field. And Biggles and Bertie themselves are waiting in the attic, tensed and on edge during those unbearable few moments before 0 hour. It is 8:43. In 2 minutes, Smith will come to send them on their way. Suddenly, there is a sound below, a hammering on the shop door, the clang of the bell as the door is opened. Biggles and Bertie stiffen as they wait for the sound that must come.
The buzzer!
The warning signal. It's the police. Downstairs.
Sizzling sausages, they've traced us. They know we're here.
Smith thought they might. Now, Bertie, help me up with this box.
We're going to bolt?
Of course we are. Now, onto the table with it. You hop up first. Open the skylight and climb through.
What about Smith?
What about him?
We can't just ooze off and leave him.
Use your head. If we are found in his house, he hasn't an earthly. He'll have some way of getting out of this mess. Now, stop wasting time and get cracking.
Roger, old boy.
Can you reach the skylight?
Yes. Don't know if it'll open yet, though. She's right. See you on the roof, old bean. Oh, baked potatoes, a belly roof, slippery.
Bertie, give me a hand up, will you? This wound of mine's smarting a bit.
You think you can make it?
I'll make it. Come on, help me up.
Watch it up here. It's been raining and the roof's as slippery as billy-o.
Wait till I get a grip. I'm right. By Jove, it is slippery.
Just look at the slope of it. One slip and we won't be worrying about blinking coppers.
Then don't slip. I'll shut the skylight and then we can move on.
Right.
Off you go. Along the ridge to the chimney. I'll keep close behind you.
You sure you'll be all right with that bullet wound?
Off you go, I said. You want to stay here nattering until the police come up?
All right. Give a squeak if you need any help. Biggles! Biggles, I've lost my grip.
Grab anything, quick!
I'm sliding. I can't hold.
Nearly there, Bertie.
Oh, Biggles, I'm right. Oh,
What do you mean?
a nail. Oh, my clothing's caught in the nail, but the dash thing's sticking into my tummy.
It's holding you. That's what matters. Now, don't move, Bertie. Don't move until I can reach down to you.
Oh, don't worry, old bean. If I budge, I'll rip a belly great groove in my tummy.
I think you're within reach. If I can hold on with one hand. Yes. Now, grab me, Bertie. Take my hand.
You all right?
Yes. Take a tight grip. Then I'll heave you up.
But your wound, it's hurting you.
It'll hurt a darn sight more if you fall and let the police know I'm up here. Ready?
Yes, I'm ready, but...
Then up you come.
It's all right now. I grip the ridge. I say, thanks most awfully for that, old bean.
Did you hurt yourself on the nail?
Don't worry about my blinking scratches. What about your belly wound?
Perhaps we'd both better forget our ailments and press on.
Regardless, what?
Yes, this little episode has wasted valuable time. You all right to climb along to the chimney?
Yes, it isn't far from me here.
Well, off you go, and don't lose your grip again.
Right. I'm there. I can hold on to the chimney. By Jove, I say, this is bliss.
Now, let me get a grip. Ah, that's better. That little trip wasn't funny.
To coin a phrase, you're telling me.
Let's hope Smith's right about the rope being inside the chimney. We wouldn't have a hope of getting down on the next level without one.
Well, I'll see. Yes, by Jove. Bless his aged heart, there's blinking miles of it.
Well, don't waste time admiring it. Sling it round the chimney. Looks strong enough to hold our weight.
Yes, by Jove, it had better be. Right.
Don't tie it, Bertie. It's long enough for us to drop both ends, isn't it?
Oh, baked potatoes, yes. You could swing over Niagara Falls on the belly stuff.
Then drop the double length. It'll be easier to climb down that way, and then we can pull the rope down after us.
Roger, old trout. You speak words of much wisdom. There. That do?
I think so. I'll go down first to test the chimney. You follow when I'm down, and then we'll yank the rope after us and sprint across that flat roof.
That leads to the scrap metal yard, doesn't it?
Yes, and the end of our trip. Or at least the roof climbing end of it. See you below, Bertie. I must say I'll be glad to feel solid earth under my feet after all this.
Oh. Well, that's over. By Jove, I can't say I precisely enjoyed that little jaunt. Do you know that poor old Harriet has quite a dent in her big end from our slippery dip down the roof?
You keep that darned hunting horn quiet. This junkyard opens onto the street. And there are police out there somewhere.
Oh, they'll be up at old Smithy's house. Shouldn't think they'd worry us down here.
Wait till we can see where they are before we decide that. It's so confoundedly dark here that I don't know what's happening.
There must be a high wall between the yard and the street, what? Smithy said the gate was just a...
Oh, you idiot! You have to make that noise.
Oh, sorry, old bean. I sort of barged into a pile of junk without knowing it was there. Oh, very rubbish. It seems to be everywhere.
No, I can see what it is. There's a huge pile of it here beside us. It's blocking the street from us. If we skirt that, we'll be clear.
Yes, and if we happen not to skirt it, we're liable to bring the belly stuff down and wake everyone for miles around.
Don't. That's all. Step very carefully and keep over this way a bit.
Yes, by Jove, you were right. There's the fence.
Thank goodness it's only a low one. We'll be able to recce the street before we go out. Don't make too much movement, Bertie. We'll see what's going on.
The blighters are still up there. There are 2 cars outside Smith's shop.
And quite a few blokes standing by them. As long as they stay there, we'll be okay.
No, not for too long, old bean. We Lissies have no desire to stay in this blinking junkyard all our lives.
We'll stay here until they clear out. This is where the farm cart's coming for us. So this is where we must wait.
Oh, I say!
What's the matter?
Suppose the very farm cart comes while those coppers are still here.
I've been supposing that for some time, and trying to will it not to come. We'll have to hope that the driver twigs to the situation and keeps clear, that's all.
Well, we Lissies have always prided ourselves on our willpower, but I don't know that's as strong as... Oh, keep back in the shadows, old trout.
What's up?
A couple of those sausages from the cars strolling this way.
So there are. Quick, there's a broken down old cart behind us. Climb into that, and we'll be out of sight.
There's nothing in this world I'd rather be out of.
Bertie, did you see them as they passed under that light?
No. I was trying to elbow you out of that comfortable corner. Mine's somewhat worm-eaten.
It's von Stalhein. He's talking to one of the coppers, an officer by the look of him.
Well, well. Then if we lie doggo, we might be able to hear what's going on. That is, I mean to say, on the off chance that they are speaking German. I mean, I wouldn't have a chance of understanding that very Czech lingo.
They'll be talking German. Now, keep quiet. I want to hear this.
All right, Roger.
I tell you, you do not understand the men we are looking for. This Bigglesworth is one of the most dangerous agents in Europe.
My dear Hauptmann, we have covered all the likely places, done what we could.
Exactly. And you are most unlikely to find Bigglesworth in the likely places.
So?
We must search everywhere. This metal yard. It may be wise to send some of your men through here.
Some of our men through a metal yard? So, a metal yard. Is he a miracle man, this Bigglesworth? Hauptmann, please use your common sense. If they were in a house, they are still there. My men are covering all doors, all windows. They could not have escaped.
But they might have escaped into this metal yard. How many times must I tell you there is no question of could not with them? We must assume...
Huh?
This.
A farm cart, by the look. Perhaps these wonderful Englishmen are hiding in that.
Perhaps they are. You will take no risks. Your men will search every house. They will search this metal yard. And they will even search that cart. I believe that Bigglesworth and Lissy are somewhere in this street, and I intend to find them.
The cart that was coming to rescue Biggles and Bertie is driving straight into the enemy's arms. Will von Stalhein prevent the flyer's escape? And what has happened to Ginger and Ian Ross on their way to distant Manchuria? Listen for the next exciting chapter of The Air Adventures of Biggles.
The Air Adventures of Biggles.
The plan for the escape from Prague was well planned. Biggles and Bertie were to be in the junkyard at the corner of the street by 9 o'clock when a farm cart would pick them up. This would take them to the field out of town on which Algy would land the plane to pick up the fugitives. But von Stalhein and his police have upset the plan. They surround the house in which the flyers are hiding and force them to make an emergency escape across the rooftops. It is shortly after 9 when Biggles and Bertie reach the junkyard. Von Stalhein and the police officer are in the street nearby. Hidden in some rubbish, the flyers overhear their conversation. And then they are shocked to hear the sound of hooves. It is the farm cart coming for them. Von Stalhein and the policemen hear it too and move up the street to intercept it.
Oh, sizzling bally sausages. If the blighters grab that cart, we're done for.
I'd much prefer them to grab it before we're aboard.
But how will we ever get aboard with this going on?
Halt! Warten Sie!
Oh, well, that sort of settles that one, what? Friend Erich and his pal have decided to take over the blinking cart.
They're searching it, but I doubt if they'll find much. Come on, Bertie. This is our chance.
Chance?
To clear out of the junkyard. Didn't you hear von Stalhein order the copper to search it?
I heard him order the blighter to search everything within blooming miles.
At least we shan't be caught like rats if we're in the street.
But my dear old sausage, there are fully a dozen coppers in that bally street. Don't you think we'd rather overcrowd it?
This yard's on a corner, don't forget. And I'll be surprised if there are police in the next street.
Oh, by Jove, that's a thought.
Then come along. While they're busy with the cart...
Well, it seems clear enough over here. Those couple of bods that are about don't look like coppers.
They're stray pedestrians. But we'll keep in the shadows just the same. Don't want to draw attention to ourselves climbing over this fence.
Now?
Yes. Move up towards the corner a little. Away from that streetlight. Hop over, and then keep perfectly still until we are sure no one's spotted us.
Well, all seems to be most frightfully well, what?
I think we're right.
The question is, what do we do now? We're sort of relying on that cart, aren't we?
We'll sneak up to the corner, Bertie, and see what's going on. While there's any chance of us using that cart, I don't want to dump it.
Baked potatoes, we mustn't dump it. That jolly old chariot's our only means of linking up with Algy.
I'll peep round and see what the police are doing with it.
Well?
It's hard to tell. The street's so confoundedly dark. It's coming, Bertie.
Well, how does that help us? With the street absolutely streaming with coppers.
There's no light on this corner. The cart's going to cross here.
Oh, I get it. We hurl our blinking selves aboard, what?
Yes. Stand by. Now! Grab the tailboard. Up ahead. Right.
Roger, old bean.
The sack's here as Smith promised. Lie down and cover yourself with them.
What about the driver? I think the old lobster knows we're aboard.
He knows. There's no need to talk to him. He'll keep on going until we're at the landing ground. Now, get down out of sight, in case those coppers become suspicious.
Like another cup of coffee, Pen?
No thanks, Algy. I'll float out at the cafe if I have any more.
Me too. But we have to do something to fill in the time. I think I'll refill.
No, Algy, don't have any more.
Why not? Unless you've changed your mind about seeing the sights of Paris.
I'd loathe to see the sights of Paris at the moment.
Well, then.
Let's get out of here.
But it's far too early to take off yet, Pat. Biggles and the blokes won't be waiting for us until 1.
I don't care, Algy. I can't sit still any longer. I was calm enough earlier, but now we're almost at the point of picking them up. I feel... I'm infected with your disease, I'm afraid.
Yes, I know. It does make you restless and jumpy, doesn't it? You know you've made all the preparations. You know your plane's refueled and ready for takeoff. And yet you still feel there must be something you haven't done. I'm always like that.
I know we needn't worry tonight. In a few hours, we'll all be together again and on our way back to England. But it's been an awful strain wondering what's happened to them.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Pat. We'll walk back to the drome. That'll get us there just in nice time to take off. And if we keep moving, we'll work off some of this restlessness.
Good idea. Pay the bill and let's get cracking. I'll start imagining all sorts of things going wrong if we don't. Isn't it a beautiful night?
Let's hope it's as fine as this over Czechoslovakia. I don't fancy putting down in a rough field in sticky weather.
What will you do if it is stormy?
Put down. This is our chance to pick up the blokes, and nothing's going to stop us.
I'm glad you feel like that. I couldn't turn back now.
There'll be no turning back.
I wonder if they're all right.
What do you mean? Biggles sent that signal, didn't he?
Yes. But it merely said to pick them up and gave us the time and place. Naturally enough, there were no details in the message.
Well, what details do you expect? Ginger's hurt his toe, or Bertie's dropped Harriet in the mud, or what?
I'm wondering about Ian Ross, as a matter of fact. They came across to Europe to follow him to the International Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious to know if they did get as far as that.
Yes. I wonder if Ross will be with them when we pick them up.
However, we'll soon know. They must have been through some awfully dangerous moments since we last saw them.
And they may still be going through them. You know, Pat, I won't be happy until they're all safely aboard that kite of ours.
You asleep, Ian?
Eh? Oh, no fear I'm not. I don't think I'm ever going to sleep again.
Yes, I feel a bit the same way. Though I'm tired, I know. Ian, have you done any more thinking about the situation we're in?
Look, I've thought of nothing else. But I still don't know what to make of it.
Well, neither do I. I've been thinking about it ever since we took off. When we were caught trying to escape in Berlin, I thought we'd be tossed into jail as spies.
Aye, so did I.
And yet here we are, flying across the middle of blessed Europe.
And still headed for that cursed International Brigade.
Yes.
I'm afraid Lutzov's determined to take us right through.
Yes, I think you're right. But why? You know, you'd think we'd be dangerous to him. And that because of that, he'd want to dump us pretty smartly.
Yes, one would think that.
Yet in Berlin, he didn't say a word. Just ordered us into the kite, and then took off with us.
That's right. Well, whatever his reasons, he seems quite capable of doing what he wants with us. James, do you realize we must be hundreds of miles inside the Iron Curtain now?
Yes, that's to say the least. And that's what's worrying me. It was my idea, when I thought of this in the first place, that we should go through to this brigade while Biggles could follow us. But now we're on this flight. Well, not now. It just doesn't work out.
No, you're so right. They couldn't possibly follow us to Manchuria. Look, are you sure he won't find us there, Ginge?
I'm pretty sure. The odds are against it, Ian. Too much against it.
I'm afraid they are.
You know, he'd look for us in Europe. But the trouble is that if he doesn't find that we've gone to Manchuria, you and I are finished, I'm afraid.
It strikes me we're finished now. Yeah, there's nothing we can do to stop Lutzov taking us to this place. What's it called? Kratzen?
Kratzen, yes. I'm afraid you're right, Ian. By Jove, though, I wonder. Ian, I wonder if there isn't something we can do.
Now, what do you mean?
This is a plane, isn't it? And Lutzow's alone in that cockpit. Well, I can fly a plane, and there are two of us here. Ian, there is something we can do about this.
We're stopping. Shh. Wait till the driver gives the word.
You get out. This is the place for you.
By Jove, we're here. Dash good show.
Which is the field, driver?
There. Please, gate. You go through gate. Wait for airplane.
Eh? Oh, yes, well, yes, well, we'll do that, old trout. Yes, we'll do precisely that. Now, come along, Biggles. This is Journey's End.
Thanks for all you've done, driver. You saved our lives.
No talk. No talk. I go now.
Of course. Oh, there's just one other thing. Suppose the plane doesn't come.
2 o'clock. I come back and look for you. But plane come.
Well, it looks as if everything's falling into belly line at last, what? Nothing can stop us now.
I shouldn't think so. The night's a bit cloudy, but Algy should be able to put down all right.
Oh, well, there you are. Everything in the garden's positively... I say, what's that?
That's a car.
And it's coming from the city.
Yes. I've a feeling that everything in our garden isn't lovely, Bertie. That car's travelling very fast, and on an out-of-the-way road. It looks as if it's heading for this landing field.
There is no sign of Algy's plane, so the car must reach the field first. Will Biggles and Bertie be captured at this late hour? And what is Ginger's plan? You'll listen to the excitement in the next episode of The Air Adventures of Biggles.
The Air Adventures of Biggles.
Biggles Air Police are split into 3 groups and widely dispersed over Europe. Ginge, together with Guardsman Ian Ross, is being flown by the German Lutzow towards Russia, aiming ultimately for the International Brigade in Manchuria. Algy and Pat are flying in the same direction, but well to the west as they hurry to the rendezvous in Czechoslovakia. This is a flat field some distance outside Prague, and Biggles and Bertie have just been brought to it by the farm cart which rescued them from the city. The cart drives off, but there is another sound in the still country air. A car is approaching fast, and it's coming from the city.
They're heading for this field, Bertie. I can't see why else a car would come to this out-of-the-way place.
Do you think the blighters have been following us?
Scarcely. At the speed our old cart was travelling, that car could have overtaken us in half a mile.
Then why should it be anything to do with us? If they didn't follow us, how would they know about the field? After all, it's just an ordinary valley field.
Yes, but planes have put down on it before. Remember? Smith told us he used it as an escape route several times during the war. The police must know about that.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that, by Jove. Well, what do we do? No point in sprinting anywhere, I suppose.
None at all. We'll keep well under these trees where they can't see us, and we'll see what happens.
By Jove, you're right, old top. They're slowing down.
Yes. That's von Stalhein and his boys.
They're turning into the gate.
And that's that. Looks as if there's going to be quite a wait, Bertie. The coppers up there and us down here under the trees.
Yes, but what happens at the end of the wait? What's going to happen if Algy puts down with these blighters watching?
I'm trying to work that one out now. And it's quite a problem.
Algy, do you think this is a good idea?
What, Pat?
Flying over the Russian zone of Germany like this.
Well, it's the shortest route from Paris to Czechoslovakia, isn't it?
I know, but there have been a number of incidents with aircraft flying over hostile territory lately. We don't want to cause another one.
There's a machine gun in the locker, Pat.
Yes, but...
If any other kite looks sideways at us, he'll take what's coming to him. I'm not concerned with international incidents, but I am concerned with rescuing Biggles in the game.
I suppose you're right. I'll keep a sharp lookout just the same. Won't help Biggles if we're shot down.
Yes, but it might be an idea for you to keep watch. I'm keeping my mind set on one thing. Putting this kite down on that landing field at 1 o'clock.
You reckon you can get us out of this mess, Ginge?
I think so. I should have thought of it before.
How?
Well, Lutzow didn't bother to tie us up when he put us in this cabin, did he?
No, but we're just as helpless as if he had.
No fear we aren't. There are 2 of us, and he's alone in the cockpit. Don't you reckon we could overpower him?
I suppose we could.
And then I could take over the controls and fly the kite back to Western Europe. Oh, it's so easy that it's silly here.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe it's just too easy.
Well, what can go wrong? You can slug Lutzow while I grab the plane. That'll prevent any chance of us crashing. Then it's simply a case of flying home.
But have you any idea where home is? I haven't a notion where we are now.
No, neither have I, frankly. But we are flying east, I know that much. As long as I head west, we'll eventually hit friendly territory.
Well, I suppose you know what you're doing, Ginge, but it seems awful risky to me.
Is anything more risky than flying onto the International Brigade in Manchuria? Now, hunt around for something heavy you can use as a weapon. I'll sneak forward to see what's happening in the cockpit.
Be ready to move fast, Bertie. They're climbing out of the car.
Think they're going to search for us?
Seems likely. If they suspect we're here, they will.
They're going through the gate.
Yes, onto the field. Can you see what they're carrying with them?
No, too belly dark. But they're lugging something.
I wonder what it is. I can't imagine them carting around anything heavy if they're going to search for us.
I think they've got some other bright idea in their noddles. They're out there in the middle of the field somewhere. Hello. That's hammering.
Yes, sounds like a mallet. I've got it. That's a stake they're hammering into the ground.
Well, I know the blighters are somewhat rattled, but I'm hanged if I can see why they should do that.
They're trapping the field against aircraft. That was a coil of wire they were carrying.
You mean they're running the wire across the field?
Yes, about a couple of feet from the ground. Any machine trying to land will catch its wheels in the wire and go over on its nose.
Then that settles it, by Jove. We mustn't let old Algy land.
Don't be in a hurry. He isn't due for a quarter of an hour yet. We've plenty of time to fix this.
It's not the time that's worrying me, it's the belly method. Have you any bright ideas?
I've got something better than bright ideas. I sewed a little escape kit into my jacket before leaving England. Remember?
Baked potatoes, yes. And there's a file in it.
A file that's strong enough to cut iron bars. Shouldn't have any difficulty cutting through soft wire.
But look here, old bean. If we start burbling across the field, those blighters will spot us at once.
If we walked across from here, they would. But we'll duck out from the other side.
Work right round the field, what?
Yes. There are plenty of trees about to give us cover so we shouldn't be seen. And then, as soon as those blokes have cleared off the field, we'll whip out and do the job.
Right-o, old bean. Start oozing. I'd hate old Algy to burble down before we'd cleared that fire.
Can you see where they've gone, Bertie?
I think they've all tootled back to the car. They must have finished laying the wire.
Very well, then. Don't make too much noise, but we needn't worry about quite so much hush-hush business over this side. They'll never hear us from the car.
The point is, will they stay by the car?
I rather think they will. Obviously, they're expecting a plane to come in, and I assume they're expecting us to try and escape in it. But as they've trapped the field, they'll be certain the plane will prang, and won't have any fears about us pulling off the escape.
So you think they'll sit in a grandstand seat and watch events jolly well unfold before them, what?
More or less. Now, you take the torch, Bertie. I'm going to set to work on the wire just here. If Algy comes before I've finished, warn him off. If I have finished, you can signal him down.
But they'll see our signal from the car, won't they?
It won't worry them. They'll be feeling pretty sure we won't get off alive. But they'll be wrong.
Biggles! Biggles, here he comes. That's the kite.
It won't put down for a minute or two yet.
How are you going with the wire?
Nearly through. There. That's ruined their little trap for them. As soon as he can see you, start flashing that torch, Bertie.
But the wire's still lying across the field. I know you've cut one end, but his wheels can still tangle in loose wire.
Well, when he's nearly down, I'll dash across the field and clear it out of his way. But I don't want to appear on the other side until the last possible moment.
No, by Jove. You'll be too bally close to that car over there.
Right. Now, bring him in, Bertie. He'll see your signal from here.
Well, Roger, Biggles, off you go, old trout. By Jove, hurry up. You'll collect his wheels yourself if you leave it too late, damn it all.
I'll clear him. Right, Bertie. I'll whip over with the wire. You dash down the field with your torch.
Roger.
Make some sort of flare path for him. And have him ready to take off the minute I'm on board.
Roger, old bean. Don't waste any time.
Right.
Come along, Bertie. The hatch is open. Where are the others?
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, old dear, there's only Biggles. He's just over on the other side of the kite. Sizzling sausages!
Where's that coming from?
I know where it's coming from. From the Copper's Bally car. And they're on the same side as Biggles.
Just one small burst of machine gun fire in the night. And that burst of machine gun fire could bring tragedy at the last minute. Is Biggles safe? Can the plane take off with the flyer's enemy so close at hand? Don't miss the next exciting chapter of The Air Adventures of Biggles.
The Air Adventures of Biggles.
As Algy brings the plane down to land on the field near Prague, Biggles and Bertie race into action. Biggles picks up the loose end of the tripwire and dashes across the field with it, while Bertie rushes down the field waving his torch to show Algy the layout of the landing ground. The plane puts down safely and taxis to a standstill near Bertie, but Biggles is still running across from the other side. As Pat opens the hatch, there is a staccato burst from near the gate. The police have opened fire on the plane.
Quickly, Bertie, come aboard. They'll riddle the plane.
To blazes with the kite, they'll shoot Biggles. He's on that side.
What? Get in quickly.
Now, I'm going round.
Get in, Bertie. There's a machine gun in the plane. I'll engage them from the cockpit.
You do that, old gal. But I'm going to see what's happened to Biggles.
Bertie! Bertie, don't be a fool! Bertie!
Biggles! Biggles, where the blazes are you?
Here, Bertie! Help me! I'm down behind the plane, a bit to starboard.
What's up? Have those bally swine copped you?
Get down! They're firing over here. What the blazes?
It's Pat. She's firing from the kite. Now, what's happened? Why are you lying like that?
It's all right. They hadn't hit me. They saw me running. Fired at me. Threw myself down. started this confounded wound bleeding again. I've been lying here having a breather.
Well, you can't lie there any longer, old trout. The kite will be like a blinking sieve if it takes much more of that fire.
Can you help me?
Of course. Hoist your arm around my neck. Now, that hurting?
It's all right. Just keep me steady, and I'll run with you. What's happened to that gun? It stopped firing.
Hanged if I know. Maybe Pat copped the blighters. But just you worry about getting to the hatch. Here we are. Now, if you can just hoist yourself
I'm
up.
coming, Bertie. I'll help you. Give me a hand, Biggles.
Thanks, Pat. Oh,
Come on.
Up.
I'll look after him, Bertie. Tell Algy to take off.
You bet I will. Oh, well, by Jove, it sounds as if the old bus is still capable of flipping an odd wing or two, what?
Yeah, she wasn't damaged much. I think Pat put the gun out of action.
Yes, well, by Jove, let's hope she put old Starley out of action, too. That would simplify things no end for us.
Von Stalhein, was he with the gun?
I shouldn't be surprised. The old trout was well and truly onto us in Prague, you know.
We guessed he would be. Pat and I ran up against him after you left England.
Did you, by Jove? What happened?
Our story can wait. Where's Ginge and Ian Ross?
Well, that, old bean, is a very sad tale. We haven't the faintest bally idea.
What? Do you mean to say we're pulling out of Czechoslovakia and leaving them behind?
Not quite. They pulled out of the bally place a couple of nights ago.
Well, tell me what happened.
Well, we trundled off to Paris, as you know. Biggles and I in our own kite, and Ginge in the same passenger job as Ian Ross. In Paris, we met a character called Raoul Marmontel, who was there to grab Ian for this international brigade nonsense.
Yes, we knew there'd be someone meeting him there.
The funny part of it was that the Marmontel sausages thought we were there to grab Ginge for the same purpose.
What do you mean?
Sort of pick him up for the brigade, just as Ross was going to be picked up.
He took you for agents of the same organization, did he?
Precisely. The old Biggles bird put over some very neat bluffing with Marmontel. As a result, Ian Ross trundled off with him as a recruit for the brigade, and Ginge came with us as something similar.
Yes, but where are they now?
Oh, give me time, old bean. We lissies don't ruin a good story by hurrying it, you know.
I've known that for years.
Oh, very well. Harry it, if we're going to be insulted by this oaf.
Come on, Bertie, come on. It's important that I know this. Where did you all go from Paris?
To Prague. And there things went somewhat amiss. There was another ghastly galoot waiting to take Ian onto the Valley Brigade, and he sort of took Ginge off with him.
What? You let him grab Ginge from you?
Well, not quite. Old Ginge wanted to go, the clot. Biggles thought it might be useful for us to have another bod in the enemy camp sort of thing. So they oozed off into the dark blue yonder.
Where to?
Yes, well now, there is rather an awkward little point. They were heading first for Berlin, then for Manchuria.
Where?
Yes, you heard us, old trout. For generations we lissies have been famed for the clarity of our blinking diction. There's no need for us to repeat everything we say.
But why should they go to Manchuria?
To join up with the International Brigade. The very thing's operating there. It's something to do with the Korean War.
Manchuria? Caesar's ghost.
Yes, I don't know whether he comes into it, but that's the drill with the old Ginge sausage. Somewhere between here and Manchuria, he and Ian Ross are drifting onwards under the eagle eye of a horrible blighter named Lutzow. Maybe they're in Berlin. Yet again, maybe they're not. That's why Biggles and I thought it rather essential that we should say a fond farewell to Prague. Apart from the fact that old Starley and his coppers are well and truly on our tails by this time.
How did you get word to Scotland Yard?
Oh, well now, by Jove, that's jumping ahead a bit and spoiling my story. After Ginge and Ian Ross oozed off in Lutzow's aircraft, we sort of crash-dived straight into old Starley.
Well, did you go right up to the cockpit, Ginge? I snuck up to the door of it. Everything's okay, Ian. Lutzal's sitting at the controls, half asleep. It'll be the easiest thing in the world to grab the kite from him, I think.
Well, I hope so, Ginge. That sounds horribly dangerous to me. I never feel too safe in an aeroplane anyway at any time, and to take one over in mid-air...
You trust your old Uncle Ginge. I can handle it all right. Well, by the way, did you look around and find something to clock Lutzal with?
There's this lump of wood. I wrenched it off a packing case. I think that should be heavy enough. What do you think?
Well, let's feel it.
Yeah.
Well, that feels pretty good. Nice heavy piece. Yeah, and I think that'll hurt. Now, here's what we'll do, Ian. I think this will be the best idea. We'll sneak up to the cockpit, quietly, you see, and then I'll go in first. I'll move into position for a dive for the controls. And then you...
And what's the matter, Ginge?
The kite. I'm listening to it.
Is something wrong?
I don't know. Move aside. I want to look through that pool porthole.
What is it?
Oh, the last thing I wanted to happen. Those are the lights of a city down there.
Oh, I see them. But what of it?
They're only a few hundred feet below us. The plane's landing, Ian. We daren't put our plan into operation at this height or we crash. We'll have to wait.
Now, Bertie, I suggest you go and have a rest. You must be fagged out after the last few nights.
What's that? I say, by Jove, old boy. Look here, what on earth are you doing here, Dash and all, old trout? I thought Pat would have had you tucked away tight in the jolly old sick bay by now.
She tried that, but I daren't relax yet. Off you go, Bertie. I want a word with Algier.
Oh, just a moment. Can't it wait, Biggles? I mean to say, if you're seriously wounded...
I'm not seriously wounded. A bullet grazed me a couple of nights ago, and we've been dashing around so much that the wound keeps opening up. That's all. Pat's put another dressing on it, and there's nothing that a few hours' quiet and relaxation won't fix.
Yeah, well, there you are, old bean. Quiet and relaxation, I mean to say, Dash and all. I mean, that's just the whole point. Now, you go back.
Now, listen, Bertie, you hop it. I'll relax in that co-pilot seat. It's important that I brief Algie on what's happening.
Oh, no, it's all right, old boy. You'll find him thoroughly briefed by us lissies. But, still, if you're going to insist on driving us out, come, Harriet, old dear, we'll sulk in the cabin with Pat.
Where are we, Algie?
Just a moment, I'll refer to the log. Yes, we're approaching the Czech border. If my calculations are right, we'd be about 50 miles off Carlsbad.
Good Lord, you're not heading for the Russian zone of Germany.
Well, yes, you see, Bertie suggested that we go to Berlin, and this is the shortest route.
It's also the most dangerous. Change your course to the west, Algie. We'll go in through the American zone.
Oh, but just a minute, Biggles. We came down this way, after all.
Yes, and you were undoubtedly seen. And all airfields on your line of flight checked. That's why the police came to the landing field where you picked us up.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, Biggles, I didn't even think of that.
Well, don't worry about it now. We took off safely. Just concentrate on getting out of Czechoslovakia.
Yes, all right, then I'll change course.
Biggles, there's a radio signal.
What's that?
Yes, I tuned in to hear if there was any traffic. There's a constant signal going out for us. Our position's been marked by radar, and we're ordered to put down at Carlsbad. If we don't, we'll be shot down.
Biggles' plane is virtually unarmed. Can he afford to ignore the order to land? How can Ginger and Ian Ross gain control of their plane now that it's putting down somewhere 1,000 miles inside the Iron Curtain? There'll be thrills and excitement in the next chapter of The Air Adventures of Biggles.